Yo! What's up, guys? It's Terrell here for Terrell Game Vlogs, here to bring you my teen romantic comedy SNAFU Season 2, Episode 5 review. Please, God, let that be Episode 5. If it's not, I'm going to be pissed. So, I was debating on whether I wanted to talk about the drama or the actual everything. Particularly because the drama is what kind of leads into what's going to lead into the next probably set of episodes. Also, not really a pseudo spoiler. If you look up the lyrics to the opening song for this season, that's a hint to a spoiler in this season. Not the opening. I'm talking about just the song. Look up the lyrics. It might depend on the translation, but I think the general idea is still the same. Keep that in mind. That's a thing for the later on in the season. Getting to the episode at hand. This was what we would call growth for Hikigaya. I say that because it's not as big. It's like probably the smallest amount of growth you will ever see in a character. It's almost if you're not a fan of Hikigaya, you won't be able to catch it. But it's only obvious to the real hardcore fans of Hikigaya. But to let me explain, for the beginning. That was Komachi won a lot of fucking points in that department. That was a very sweet, nice scene between those two. Especially because Komachi was never like bad in the first season, but you were just kind of indifferent towards her. She actually won some legitimate points, and you can kind of see that she understands how her brother is, and she knows how to deal with her brother. She also knows how to like work with her brother. Because for those who are confused, and the reason why I say his development's so small, is that his reasoning for fixing the situation with the club and preventing neither one of them from actually becoming president, he used Komachi as his reason. Even though his reason truly is he wants to fix it. He's not saying that, but that's his true reason. His true reason is that he himself wants to fix it, but he doesn't want to. But he doesn't. It's really more that he doesn't acknowledge that as a real reason. So he used Komachi as a reason because he's still not 100% ready to like change, but I think he's starting to recognize his problems, which is why he used Komachi as a justification, which means he's not there yet, but he is walking in the right direction, kind of, sort of. Even the same thing with his tactics that Yui says to him in the end. It's like, you probably did something that was probably something we would still disapprove of. It just wasn't as bad as probably what you would usually do. That's really what it was. All he did is he created a whole bunch of fan Twitter accounts for all the people that is it Saika? Yeah, Saika. That Saika gave him a list of. I'm also glad they put in the scene about her thinking he would make a good council president too. That's not the point though. He made like a whole bunch of Twitter accounts, support Twitter accounts for people he think would be good for being like student council president, and then he went in there and he changed all the fucking titles of those accounts to voting for Iroha instead of what they originally were saying. And then he used that as a bluff because he mentions how he only needs it to work for a day. He just needed it to he only needed it to kind of stop Yui and Yukinoshita. Once he got Iroha to kind of sign on with it, all he needed was Yui and Yukinoshita to buy it. And both of them bought it, even though I think they're both aware that it's bullshit. They were just both willing to buy it. And to me, one of the most controversial things about the episode is kind of the line that pretty much the Yui and Yukinoshita scenes. The Yui scene, which is the really sweet, brushing his hair. She pretty much congratulated him for changing a little, even if it isn't that big of a change. Even though she still recognizes it, and even Hikigaya's sisters recognizes it. Because Hikigaya's sister, when she's talking, is like, look, I know that's how you are. I'm your sister. I've been with you for 15 years. I understand that's how you are. And so I can kind of brush it off. But she throws in at the end of that sentence, she goes, it probably still make me a little bit sad. And why is that? Because it's still not the right. It's still not right. He's still not like right. But being the sister and knowing him so well, it's like, yeah, I kind of expected that, but it's still not right, which is why it still bothers her to an extent, which is why she was prying to begin with. But going to the Yuki, because Yui even says something to that effect. She goes, the guilt won't go away. Meaning, and that kind of gets carried over with what Yuki Noshita says and Hikigai's thought process right after that, and then hearing what Meguri's little idea was, which really brings everything in the full circle, which is Yui's like the guilt won't go away because she was struggling with just the fact that she couldn't help it all. So he knows she knows that he's struggling, knowing that what he's doing isn't necessarily the best way of handling it. It's just a way he can handle it. And then Yuki Noshita, which depending on the translation, she says either, and here I thought you would understand, or she says something like, you thought you understood, didn't you? Which pretty much makes it seem like that he didn't get the true goal of it all, which I don't think any of us got until Meguri brought up her idea, which was just make them the student council. Like, that's the short answer, because she was like, well, if Yuki Noshita became president, then Yui would become vice president, and Hikigai would become, like, general affairs. And it's like, so pretty much taking that whole club and just moving it into the student council. And granted, he said something was wrong. He said that he made a mistake before that scene, but if he had heard that, he probably would have still said it, because he's just like, because his line right before, as she's walking away, and we get the flashbacks of her, make kind of correlate. It's like, some people need a reason to do something at all, which forces them to change. Like, you have to give them the ability, pretty much saying that maybe Yuki Noshita's original goal was to become council president and move them into the student council instead of being the volunteer club, being the fucking student council. A lot of people are also speculating that, since Haruno was, egging her on about how neither one of them were student council presidents, maybe she was looking at this as an opportunity to change. And Hikigai technically took that away from her, which means she might hold a little bit of resentment towards Hikigai because of that. Also, because maybe, and that kind of gets into Yuki Noshita's character flaw. She's that character who has her own thoughts and feelings, but she's also that character who sucks at telling people how she really fucking feels about anything. It's literally almost like her biggest problem has been she does not talk at all. She doesn't speak up where it counts the most. So there are a lot of scenes that probably would have been fixed if she had just opened her fucking mouth. And part of that is because she doesn't understand her own feelings. The other part is I think she just doesn't, like, either she's afraid to or she doesn't know how to approach what she wants to say, or she can't find the words, which is funny as hell for her considering she's so articulate. So it's like, you're struggling with this and that's not helping. Because you can kind of see you and Hikigai on relatively good terms now. Something tells me Yuki Noshita, the next arc will probably be about Yuki Noshita. Also, I find it kind of fucked up the way he pretty much did it Roha. Granted, it's not like anyone loves Roha right now. I'm just kind of indifferent to her character. Especially because she's that type of chick that's like, you have a crush on Hayama. And so every gag you have is a relation to how you have a crush on Hayama and how you're two-faced. But like but she won't actually say it. She acts like it's a secret. It's like, come on now. We could have that one conversation with her and Hikigai about Hayama for the few minutes it lasts was enough to tell you, yeah, she has a thing for Hayama. I mean, the opening tells you that. She's trying to take a picture of him, and Tobei gets in the way of the picture. She has a thing for Hayama. It's not hard to guess. But that's the biggest issue with this episode is it's like Hikigai still has his problems. And I think he's starting to try to slowly move forward and trying to get away from his true issues. Because it kind of go back to what Haruska said. The way you do things is what hurts people. And because you do things that way, you won't be able to help the person you care about the most. And it's because he won't change. Which is why he had to use Komachi as a justification to do anything. Even though it kind of came off a little asinine in certain aspects. But, it's like that small bit of growth that, like, it's not that big of a deal, but it's enough of a deal where you can kind of, like, recognize it as a sense of change. The biggest fucking problem currently, though, is Yuki Noshita won't open her mouth because, like, when you see that final scene with Meguri bringing up that idea, it makes you wonder, was Yuki Noshita's goal to change because her sister egged her to change and to get her away from, so she wouldn't feel like she's still under her sister's shadow, which is why she wanted to become student council president? Or was it because they could just move into that role and she could kill two birds with one stone, keeping everyone together and at the same time moving away from her sister's shadow? The problem is, she doesn't fucking tell either one of them this, so you're sitting there like, well, what the fuck are you thinking? That's like the biggest problem Yuki Noshita's had. It's like, yo, Tell me what you're thinking. A lot of people don't realize this, and I've actually looked it up. A lot of people don't like Yuki Noshita. Just anime-only watchers can't stand Yuki Noshita. And it's primarily because she rags on Hikigaya the most about his methods, but doesn't really do anything to justify her own claims. It's like, you can't even articulate yourself. I mean, technically, you're still hiding from the obvious fact that you were there during the incident, which, you know, Hikigaya and Yui, for the most part, have addressed. And you were a part of it, and they know you were a part of it, and you won't say shit about it. And you're just kind of like, yo. And it's kind of funny when she sits there and says, I thought you hated superficiality. Yeah, this coming from the girl who keeps putting on these damn airs and won't say what's on her mind. Either because, one, she doesn't know how to say it, or two, because she's afraid to say it. Either way, it doesn't help your character at all. It's like we're focusing on Hikigaya changing, but there's so many things still up in the air with Yuki Noshita. It's like we need to focus on her just as fucking much. Yui, to me, represents that kind of person whose major strength is that she inspires others. Even if she doesn't realize it, Yui's biggest strength is her effect on other people. And which is funny because people say that's Hikigaya's biggest strength. Yui has literally the same damn strength. It's because of Yui that a lot of things change between the characters. I was actually looking up the light novel, looking up some stuff in the light novel. There's a line Hikigaya says in the light novel. I don't know if he's going to say it in the anime. Well, Hikigaya pretty much recognizes this as a truth. He says, wait a minute. So if Yui wasn't here, this would just be dead-ass silence. Pretty much saying that if Yui wasn't there, that club would die anyway. Yui is an integral part of that fucking club. To the point where it's fucking disturbing. And it's primarily because Hikigaya and Yuki Noshita do not know how to properly interact with each other. And it's mainly due to the fact that not only Hikigaya has his own personal problems, but Yuki Noshita will not open the fuck up. She does these subtle little things, like, you know, waving in the first season and pouring tea for them in the second season, which went away after 5 episodes. And you're just kind of like, for the love of God, Yuki Noshita, you gotta give something out there, man. Half of these problems could be helped if you would just open your mouth and say something. Like, tell people what's on your mind. Because that was the biggest conundrum of this episode. You were like, Yuki Noshita still feels some type of way about Hikigaya in this whole situation. But she won't say anything. She just keeps saying these little side comments that don't make sense or allude to something, but don't give you enough context to understand the situation. And you're just like, damn it. Open your mouth. Ugh. And I'm pretty sure the next arc will have some big Yuki Noshita relations. From what I understand, Volume 9, which is what it'll be adapting from, is Yuki Noshita focus. So I'm hoping she changes a little bit because we need her to become a little bit more open than what she is. She's struggling so goddamn much, and it makes me mad because she doesn't tell you anything. Even the viewers don't know where she's going because she's so fucking hidden. It's ridiculous. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Because Yui, major points. Hikigaya, points. Komachi, points. And I like the fact that Saika, Totsuka, and Zaimokusa were used. So points. The only character who doesn't get any fucking points is fucking Yuki Noshita. Because once again, she sits there and doesn't tell you shit. She's just quiet and shit. Ugh. She makes it so fucking hard, man. And that's one of the reasons why people don't like her. Because she kind of like says this shit to Hikigaya, but can't really give her own goddamn logic or reasoning. It also is kind of annoying to hear a character talk down to another character when that character is still hiding things, even though it's kind of common knowledge to everyone else except her. It's like we all know about the dog. I don't think you know that they know about the dog, but we all know about the fucking dog. And you haven't even openly talked about that yet. So, yeah. That's why your fan base is very all over the place. And I know people like Aroha, apparently. I don't know. And I don't know why, because she's pretty much Sagamine, except without being... Also, she seems kind of insecure because of that line she says about how she doesn't want people talking behind her back. I think the difference between Sagamine and Aroha is Aroha does it so she isn't hated. Sagamine did it for the attention. And I think that's in. I think because I was wondering, I was like, Aroha literally has the same two-faced type of personality that fucking Sagamine had. The problem is Sagamine either isn't aware of it or hides it way worse than Aroha does. Aroha is relatively open with certain people about it, and Hayama is even aware of it, even though I'm pretty sure she's never shown that face to Hayama. I'm pretty sure Hayama's aware. Well, we know Hayama's aware. I just don't know how if he's just seeing her do it, or if this has been a thing before. I'm not sure. Point is, I think Aroha's issues come more from probably similar experiences to Hikigaya, which is why they kind of pseudo get along in a way. Because she has the two-faced personality, but she does it out of fear and out of, no one hating her, versus Sagami, who did it to have attention, as if she isn't aware that she doesn't want attention, which she might not be. I'm just saying. But anyways, that's been my thoughts and review. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. This has been the Insane Game Freak. Life's a game, play to win, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out!